Now let's do some more configuration with our database. First thing, we are going to create an engine. To create an engine, we need to import create engine from SQLModel. We are going to create that SQLModel import create engine, and a few more things we need to import from SQLModel, that is SQLModel itself, SQLModel. And here we are going to create the engine, create engine, and it will take a few parameters. First one will be MySQL URL and the second one is echo. If we get any error, it will help us to debug. Okay, the next thing, we are going to create database and table in the startups. So whenever we are going to start our application, it will automatically create all of our tables. Here we are going to create a new file with name of models, and in this models we are going to create all the tables. We are going to define all the fields we have in a specific table. Then we are going to create a table for match, player, team, and auth, that means user. Okay, so in order to create all those table in the startup, we need to create a function, that is div create db and tables. Okay, now we need to do like this: SQL model dot metadata dot create all. Here we need to put our engine. After all, we are going to create a session so that we can use all of our tables using this session. Get session. Here we need to do like this with session. This session we are going to import from SQLModel. Okay, so one more thing we need to import here, that is session. With session, here we need to put engine. After all, we need to do like this: session as session. This is like creating a variable, and here we are going to yield with the session. That's all for this get session. Now the next thing we are going to create is session dev session dependency, and this is an annotation, so we need to import that annotated from typing import annotated. Here we are going to use annotated, then session comma depends. This depends we are going to import from FastAPI import depends. Here we need to put that depends. This session dev will going to depends on this get session method. Okay, let me copy this and paste it here, and let me reformat it as well. Reformat, here it is. Okay, now inside models we are going to create a simple models for our user. In order to create a model, we need to import a few things from SQLModel. So let's import it from SQLModel. Import, the first thing we are going to import is field. By using this field, we are going to define our column. So let's make it field, then SQL model itself, and relationship. We are going to use this relationship to make on to many, and many to many relationship with other fields, sorry, other table. Like we are going to have a match, and a match will have multiple teams, basically two team, and this is going to make a relationship of one to many relationship. Okay, now let's create the base model. This base model is essential because we are going to need those fields in every model. Therefore we are going to create a class for that, and we are going to inherit this base class to all other child classes. If you have little bit knowledge of object oriented programming, this is very easy, this is going to be very easy for you. Otherwise I'll try to explain as much as possible. Here we are going to create the first field with name of created at, and it is going to be datetime type. Okay, so I need to import datetime from datetime import datetime. Let me copy this and paste it here as well. Afterward we are going to use this field here, and the first thing we need to do, default underscore factory. Default factory is lambda, then we are going to use that datetime again, datetime dot now, and here inside this datetime we are going to use time zone. The time zone will be UTC, time zone dot UTC. Okay, then this can never be a nullable field, so let's make it nullable, false. Do the same for updated, and one more field I'm going to put here, that is ID. If you want to put it here, then it's totally fine. Otherwise just keep it. They keep the ID for each model specifically, so I'm going to use it inside the base model, so you won't have any problem. So you need to create this ID again and again for each model, each individual model. Let's import optional from typing import optional. Okay, here optional is equal field, then this would be default none, and then this is actually primary key true. Primary field means this will increment by 1 each time when we are going to create a new record to the database. For example, we are going to create a user. By default it will generate ID of 1 for the first time. Next we are going to create another user, it will increment by 1. Previously it was 1, then it will increment by 1, it will be 2. Then we are going to create another user, it will be ID of 3, then 4, then 5. This is how the primary key works.